What's up? Welcome everyone to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by Autopsies. Cutting dead people open and seeing what fun goodies are inside.
Or alien autopsies. They used to do that a lot in the 1950s.
Did they? Because I know we have not had like extraterrestrials on this planet. Did they used to cut open immigrants? That's the only other definition of alien I know. Man, I made it cool and you made it weird, Chad. Don't forget that. U.S. has a history. And a present. And I'm sure a future. Welcome. I'm one of your hosts, Chad, Michael, Odd, Topsy, Innes. And we've got over here our other co-host, Adam, God Topsy, Elden Lord, Gumbert.
How are you, Adam? It's the Sonny and Cecil show.
Oh, that's a shout out to Jericho. That's just for us and Jericho.
Yep, good stuff.
And Audrey and Joel and Elise.
It's upsetting. I'll just say that reference is upsetting.
What did that little girl say in the beginning of that video?
Please help me. Please help me, God. I don't want to be in this YouTube video. That's what she said.
We've also got here our RAF regular, Alex Mod Topsy Cosina.
It's a Wii Wario. I am currently playing the level Turtle Rocks in Wario Land 3, and I have no clue what to do here. Not a damnedest clue. If you're in the comments right now, live on Twitch, and you know how to get the gray chest in this level, let me know, because I would greatly appreciate it.
Are you sure it's the gray chest you need to get? Because in some of these levels, the red one was the first one I got.
In a few of them, but I mean, typically it follows that you got to get the gray chest first.
It's a turtle level. Maybe you need the green chest first. Ever thought about that?
All the turtle scales in this level are like maroon or like pink or whatever. So actually, maybe your theory about the red chest makes more sense.
D-Smitty Games in the chat knows exactly where it is. He says it's up your butt and around the corner. Ha 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 ha. Woo woo woo.
Damn. Never would have thought of that. Never would have thought of that.
Well, that's why. I don't know. Let's move on. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/affableidiots, usually on Sundays, but I had a conflict last night, so now it's on a Monday today at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And now it's 8:22, so what? Live life loosely.
Oh,
that's my...
Guys, hold on. We have a breaking development. You can't really see it well on camera because it's a little bit blurry, but I am getting hit. But see that little... like a clove that I'm inside of right now, that was previously covered by a bunch of rubble. Didn't realize I could break through it. So we're making a bit of progress.
I don't know if you realize this. I don't know if you realize this, but that little entrance that you just kind of, I don't know what you call it, you shoulder bashed through, kind of looks like a colon, and then it opens up into the rest of your body. So it kind of is up your butt and around the corner. See? See what I did there?
Yeah.
And on YouTube services and podcast services on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got some news stories today, including a wonderful development for E3, some turtles that are not Turtle Rock related, or South Turtle, what level are you on? Turtle
Rock.
Turtle Rock?
Turtle Rock.
That's not right. Is it? That's a headphone manufacturer.
No, it is what it's called, but it's also like, it's weird because Turtle Rock is also a location in like a couple of Zelda games as well. It's like one of those things where like Nintendo, they reuse like dark versions of characters a lot. They reuse like certain tropes across all their games. And for whatever reason, Turtle Rock, one of the tropes that they decided to reuse here.
Speaking of reuse, you remember in Smash Bros. When you can do alt looks on Ryu, the character, and you could fight them and it would be Ryu's fighting? We're going to start today with the main quest. It's plural. Plural Ryu is Ryu's.
Really?
Yeah, and you can use alt, like you could have a Ryu with a blue bandana instead of a red one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was Ri. I thought it was Ri. Multiple Ryus.
No, that's Rihanna.
She was pregnant at the Super Bowl.
We're going to start today with a special segment. Thanks to our wonderful friend here, Alex, who is going to tell me something I was not expecting.
But before we do that, Chad, I'm really excited to kick off this special segment. But before we do that, do we want to talk about next month's Barf game candidates real quick?
Oh, fuck. I forgot. Yes. Yes, please.
Not a problem. So, after this podcast concludes its live show, we're going to be going live with our next poll for what we want to play as our Barf game for next month. And this time around, I was like, you know what, Chad, Adam, let me take the wheel on this one. And so I brought to the table 4 games, 4 candidates, 4 experiences that I've been meaning to finally beat for quite some time. And they are Wanted Dead, Bionicle Heroes, Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, and finally the Xbox Series X/S enhanced version of Sonic Unleashed.
Are we allowed to do the PS5 enhanced version?
Here's the thing. There's no PS5 enhanced version of the game. Let me back up real quick and just go one by one through these games.
Wait, I thought I saw a tweet from PlayStation saying, here's like the Gotta Go Fast version is on PS5 today or whatever.
Is it? What? I mean, I'll look this up. But
I'll look it up while you talk about the choices.
All right, perfect. Okay. Wanted Dead, the first game in the list I just listed, is actually a game that came out, no joke, last month. Came out last month, got all right reviews, but every single reviewer that reviewed it said this action game completely bucks the conventions of action games in general in ways both good and bad. I read that, I was like, wow, this actually sounds like a weird subversive experience that I want to experience. Never got around to it last month, so April, we're going to get onto it if people vote for that. Bionicle Heroes. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Bionicle, but my Bionicle video game experience is a little bit spotty. Back in the day, I played Matanui Online game, which was a like point and click, like Telltale or LucasArts style adventure game where you were exploring the island of Matanui within the Bionicle universe. Very fun. I have very cherished memories for that particular game. Never played, however, Bionicle Heroes, which is a like almost like Gears of War inspired third person shooter. It came out for like the Wii, the GameCube, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2 back in the day. So if people vote for that one, we'll try to figure that one out. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. This is a game that I actually did play. I actually got a little bit far into, but I never saw it through to completion. And I, to this day, kick myself for that because I enjoyed what I played of the first few hours of it. I thought it was an interesting take on the fantasy genre, the Soulsborne genre, and just action comedy games in general. It's a game that I have, referenced in the past on some of our podcasts, talking about the ways in which, sometimes Western media can unfairly interpret and dismiss, Japanese games' attempts at humor. And so I finally want to see it through to the end so that I can give it its due. And finally, Chad, did you reach your homework with regards to the Sonic Unleashed situation?
Sight, Sounds, and Speed is a free update, and it's on PS5 as well, and it runs at 60 frames. I'm not quite sure what else.
But is this for Sonic Unleashed?
Oh, I was looking up Sonic Frontiers. Got it.
Yeah, Sonic Frontiers recently got a update that introduced some new features to it, added a music mode, some cool stuff. That's all good. I'll check that out at some point. But today we are talking about Sonic Unleashed. This 2008 game received middling reviews back in the day, in part because a lot of people didn't really like the idea of Sonic transforming into a werehog and becoming super slow and gaining weird spaghetti stretchy arms. However, over time, this game's reputation has improved. A lot of people have come out of the woodworks to be like, hey, I really think this game is great. When I played it back in the day on the Wii, I actually thought it was pretty solid there as well. I didn't think it was all that bad. However, there are many people that swear that actually the best version of Sonic Unleashed that you can play this day, right here, right now, is the Xbox Series X/S version. Because if you play the like Xbox 360 version of it backwards compatibility wise on those consoles, it actually cleans up a lot of the slowdown and technical issues that plagued those games back in the day. So if people vote for us to play that, we will be playing Sonic Unleashed via backwards compatibility on the Xbox Series X/S. And yeah, get voting. Go to what's the name of the URL?
Patreon.com/Respawn
there we
Empire.
go.
And that poll is not yet up, but it will be by the time people listen to this on Tuesday morning, and it will be down
when you're listening to this. Yeah, when you're
It'll be
listening
up
to this
after
on
this.
podcast services, it'll be up and live. So go and vote for which of these 4 very random games you want us to play next month.
And remember, folks, if you are not a patron, there is a Twitter poll that you can still influence. The results of the Twitter poll will count towards 1 Patreon vote. So keep that in mind. Go vote on Twitter. Double vote if you're a patron. Do whatever you want. You're free. Freedom ain't free. All right. From here, Alex is going to take us through a segment. The Wii U and the 3DS eShops died about 29 minutes ago. We poured one out. We're going to drink ourselves to death. Alex has purchased some games, and he's going to talk us through the games that he bought for both systems that you should have bought yourself and that you now regret doing and you'll never be able to get again for the rest of your life. So, Alex, I'm going to switch us over to a special, amazing Focus on Alex view. I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you. And I do want to say, I talked quite a bit during the segment earlier about the games that we're going to be voting on in our upcoming Barf Poll. So if at any point during this segment that I'm on right now, you guys want to interrupt, wax poetic about the Wii U or 3DS or what have you, by all means, feel free to do so. And I will be more than happy to give you my ears, eyes, and heart. I have my 3DS in my hands right now, but I actually want to start with the Wii U because there aren't as many games to go over on this one. And also, I've had to charge it for a little bit because it wasn't previously plugged in before we were preparing for this episode of the show.
You mean you're not playing your Wii U every single day? Fake gamer.
The thing is I've probably played my Wii U more often within the past 5 years than most people have. I played through before I knew that we were going to get those remasters of them. I actually played through Advance Wars 1 and 2, like back in, I want to say 2020. There have been a couple of games that I played on it actually recently. I'll probably going through some of these things will probably jog my memory. Now, unfortunately, because of the way that my camera setup works and, it being, focused on where my face is right here, probably not going to do a real great job of showing on screen the kind of icons of the games in question. So you have to trust me when I say this game that you're looking at right here is Mario Kart 8. And that game actually isn't even a game I have downloaded. That's actually my one disc game that's in my Wii U right now. So it doesn't count. Next to that, you have Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD, NES Remix too. I had a lot of fun with that.
That's a Game Boy game, right? You got the Virtual Console?
NES Remix, no, that was actually I want to say a game that released in 2013 that basically like took a bunch of NES games and like remixed them and mashed them up in weird ways. Like it was stuff like, you play through level 1-1 of Super Mario Bros, but with Samus, for example. Or like you play through Kirby, but as Link. Stuff like that. Next you have Swords and Soldiers 2. Never played this game. This is one of those games that I guess I got in a sale at some point. Next up, we have Shovel Knight. This is actually the original console that I played Shovel Knight on. Not a game that I necessarily loved a whole lot, but I understood its appeal. It's definitely a very well-crafted little platforming game.
I know we'll get to this in a second,
F-Zero.
but did you get Shovel Knight on both Wii U and 3DS now?
I think I did. We'll have to get over to the 3DS at some point and check out there. It's not like I ran out and like got Shovel Knight on every platform it came out on after this, because again, I wasn't like super hot on it, but I kind of picked it up a bunch of times anyways. We have F-Zero for the SNES. We have Kirby's Adventure for the NES. There had to have been like sales. I vaguely remember there being sales where you could pick up these games for like 10 cents at some point. Does that sound familiar?
Maybe. My only touchstone to Kirby's Adventure on NES is that I played it a lot at my cousin's house, who lived in Virginia. We went and visited them in Virginia once, and I was so young that I basically just remember snapshots. And I remember playing Kirby's Adventure on NES, and that same day, I remember going to the bathroom, and my mom and dad always told me, apparently I used to clog the toilet. They're like, don't use too much toilet paper or else you'll clog the toilet.
Oh,
and
no.
so I had to keep wiping. It was like, what do I do with the rest of this toilet paper? It doesn't go in the toilet. So I just put it in the sink.
Oh.
In the
And
sink.
so Kirby Adventure and a bunch of dry toilet paper covered in poop put in the sink are just like intertwined permanently in my brain. For
What
the rest
great
of my
memory.
life. Yeah.
Kirby's Adventure, not a bad game. I played like an hour of it. Not a game I felt compelled to beat, but like not bad at all. We have Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream. Again, another one of those games I'm pretty sure I got like for 10 cents because they had a sale at some point. We have, okay, so this is Lost Reavers Notice. At some point, there was a game called Lost Reavers that I swear, it was kind of like that one U2 album that they automatically downloaded to everyone's iPhone. I swear that they downloaded this Lost Reavers game to everyone's Wii U, and I never played it. And then at some point, it shut down its online services. Now it's just an icon called Lost Reavers Notice to notify you that it no longer exists. I swear that's what's going on here. Next, we have Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. This is a game I originally owned on the DS. It was actually like a Christmas present that I cherished very much back when I got it back in the day. And then I actually lost it at some point. And so I got this at some point to play through it again.
That was one of the few games that looking at like, there were plenty of articles written like, these are the games you should buy before the things go offline. And looking at those, I was like, oh, those Mario and Luigi games that I never, ever played any of them. This is my shot. And I didn't do it.
At some point, they'll show up on the like Switch eShop. They'll show up there. We have Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. We have The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I'm pretty sure this might have been the version that I played back in the day when we did the episode of Barf for Respawning Fire. Actually.
Our very first Barf.
Yeah. We have Affordable Space Adventures. This is a game that I remember back in the day, like kind of got reviews from a lot of outlets that were like, you know, not the like greatest game ever, but a game that makes real good use of the Wii U gamepad. Never played it, but I mean, it's cool to have it. We have Earthbound. This is definitely a game that I got when it came to the Wii U, because if you remember, it was a big deal that, oh man, Nintendo finally worked things out and got Earthbound over here to the West. And I played like a good couple hours of it, and then I kind of trailed off.
It was another very early Barf game.
Come back to it. Yeah.
That was the first Barf game that Holden didn't finish because...
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were playing on 3DS, and you could do save states in it. And he accidentally maybe it was on SNES. He was playing it somehow, where you could do save states, and he accidentally overwrote his save state instead of loading it.
Oh.
I was like, well, there goes like 20 hours worth of progress.
Did he get punished?
No, but that was one of the pieces of fuel on the fire that led to Holden's lullaby.
Oh dear. We have a game we talked about earlier, Advance Wars. We have Runbow, which I think is a game where you run and there are like rainbows involved.
That sounds right.
We have Freedom Planet. This game, I've not played this game either, but I want to say that this game is like a Sonic-inspired game that came out like kind of in the middle of Sonic being at like one of his lowest lows, and it got a little bit of traction because it was like, hey, Sonic isn't doing so great. Here's like a small indie team that like did Sonic better than Sonic. Never played it though. We have a game that I really tried hard to beat last year, but was not able to do so. Donkey Kong 64. I got way further in this game than I thought I would, but eventually I just got tired. I just got way too tired.
I mean, it's a bad game, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It also says a curse word in the theme song, and I always felt weird about going to Clark's house to play that game and knowing that my parents knew that I was going to play a game that had hell in the
Did you poop in Clark's sink too?
No, I didn't poop in the sink. I pooped in the toilet, wiped my butt, and put the toilet paper in the sink.
You put poop in the sink. That's fine.
DuckTales Remastered. If you remember this game, this was like back in like what, 2012, 2013. We have Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising. We have the original Donkey Kong Country. Had a lot of fun with that one.
Nice.
We have Metroid Zero Mission. This is actually the first place that I ever played Zero Mission. Good times. We have Metroid Prime Hunters. Now, here's the thing. I actually played Metroid Prime Hunters a month before they announced Metroid Prime Remastered was coming this year. And I was like, man, I really want to like just muscle through this because I love Metroid, but I just found the like form factor of playing it on the Wii U not very convenient. Like blown up on your TV screen, Metroid Prime Hunters, which wasn't like an amazing game to look, an amazing looking game to begin with, looked especially bad. And like having to look down at your gamepad and like do all your stylus stuff on that just wasn't very convenient. So I dropped off it there. At some point, I'll like, I don't know, I'll find some other way to play it. We have Bit Trip Runner presents Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien.
I like a good Bit Trip Runner game.
This is a big series back in the like Wii days, and it seems like they kept it going for a little bit, but I haven't really heard from the series recently. We have Star Fox Zero, The Battle Begins plus Training.
Ooh.
So the thing about this is, like, obviously I read a lot of those lists as well that were like, here are the games you need to get off the eShops before they go down forever. And a ton of lists were like, you don't need to get Star Fox Zero, but get The Battle Begins plus Training because it's free.
What is the difference? What is that?
It's like a very like small, self-contained, like fairly polished, like little like slice of Star Fox Zero's gameplay plus like some cutscenes. That's basically it.
Adam Gumbert in the chat. Star Fox scores a 0. Zoom.
We have Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Hits. I'm assuming this is a game where you have to tap amiibos. I've never played it. We have Zen Pinball 2. This is actually one of the first games I ever downloaded to my Wii U because it was free. I didn't play much of it. We have Star Fox Guard, because that was one of the other games they recommended. They were like, again, don't play Star Fox Zero. Don't download it. But get Star Fox Guard. Star Fox Guard. Star Fox Guard. Come see what Grippy and Slippy are up to. Speaking of free Wii U games, I got Wii Sports Club. We got Sonic Lost World. That's another example where I'm not expecting an amazing Sonic experience, but a lot of people have been like, hey, that game's pretty good. The thing about Sonic Lost World is that game also had Yoshi and Zelda themed DLCs that are exclusive to the Wii U. And so it's like, well, we're going to lose contact with these things if we don't get them while the iron's hot. We have Little Inferno.
I do not recall. I'm looking at screenshots. I felt like I at least knew every Sonic game, but I do not recall this game at all.
Sonic Lost World released in 2013 or 2014. It was like between generations and Sonic Boom.
Damn.
And we have Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. That was another game I just picked up because it was free. So that's it for the Wii U. I don't know if you guys have any comments so far on my purchasing decisions.
I was going to ask about Pokemon, but then I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that's right. That's before Pokemon was actually on the systems people wanted to play.
It's true.
Yeah, didn't pick up any Pokemons there. All right, and here we go. We are at the 3DS. Now, it's going to be even harder to see what it is that I have on this thing over here.
It's actually a little easier because of the top screen.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, I'm going to actually frame myself like this just so I can see a little bit better what I'm looking at right here. So I actually have things built into a bunch of folders like this. I'm going to try to speed around this because we're going to be here all day if I try to explain every one of my purchasing decisions. So right up front, Pokemon Ultra Sun is actually the game that I currently have as my cartridge in my 3DS. I don't actually have that as a downloadable game. We have, as my first Pokemon downloadable game, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Got it downloadable because I had a physical version of Omega Ruby that I actually tragically lost. It's a real sad story. We have Pokemon Moon. We have Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS.
Hold on, pause. Is that the extent of your Pokemon game? Is that everything you downloaded?
No. I have like a ton more Pokemon games on the DS and 3DS in physical form. Those are only
That was
those
that
are
was the one thing
yeah.
I struggled with. Is like, do I download Pokemon X and Y? Do I download Ultra Sun and Ultra? Like I had a couple on there that I never played, and I was I eventually decided not to. But then I was like, wait, are the DS games like Black and White? Are those available on the eShop? And then I was like, I'm not even gonna look because I know they're thousands of dollars. Or they're they're full price $40. But
I want to say that the reason why I got Pokemon Moon digitally is because I think I was actually in Japan at the time, and like it was just more convenient for me to get it that way than to like get a Japanese version of the game that might not actually work on my 3DS. We have Fire Emblem Awakening, a game I actually got a little bit earlier this year. We have
on Smash Brothers 3DS.
Yes.
This was a time when me and my friends did have Wii U's, and we were so horny because it came out about a month before the Wii U version. We were like, this version's not going to be good on 3DS, but we really want to play Smash Brothers. So I would play their version of Smash Brothers for 3DS just because we wanted to play that game so bad, even though it's not a great version of the game.
Oh, we used to
It's not a great... Sorry.
We used to have competitions in the break room at work. Everyone would bust out their 3DS and we'd play. It was not stable. Most people didn't have a new 3DS like I did, so it didn't run well. But like, yeah, we had some fun with that game.
Hey, they got me for a month, man. I had to play it, you know?
Yeah, it's too bad because it's like, logically, it makes total sense. You know, the 3DS was like wildly more successful than the Wii U. Makes sense that they would develop a Smash Bros. Game for like the far more popular console, but it just didn't really hit. We have Persona Q2, New Cinema Labyrinth. I played the original Persona Q, and I missed out on the second one. I will play this at some point, but I kind of feel like I want to get Persona 5 over with, because this was the one that features some of the Persona 5 characters. We have Metroid Samus Returns. I originally played it here. You have like a couple of apps like the system settings and
Me Plaza. Do you remember? Fantastic. Oh man, the Street Pass games too that you would play.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I was addicted to those things.
There are still like a bunch of those like puzzles that I haven't yet completed that I'm gonna have to figure out at some point.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right, and from here, all my remaining games and apps are split up into a bunch of folders. Only 9 of them are game devoted, however. There are Pokemon games. Yes, there's an entire other app for Pokemon games. Ace Attorney, eShop games, Game Boy games, 3D classics, NES games, demos, AAA, and Game Boy Advance games. We will start with
that
Pokemon.
AAA folder is dusty, isn't it? But there's nothing in there.
There's actually only a couple of games in there, and most of them I actually got recently. Going back to Pokemon, however, we have Pokédex 3D. This was actually, I want to say, like one of the first games I got for the 3DS, because again, it was like a free game situation.
Wait, is that an official Pokemon Pokédex app?
It's real weird because this was released to coincide with the release of Black and White, which were original DS games. It was kind of like, hey, if you're playing Black and White on your 3DS, because the 3DS also released in 2010, you can access this 3D Pokédex app.
Oh.
It's kind of weird. You have, the special demo version of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I want to say this was one of the last special demos they released because data miners were able to get everything about the proper release games from the demo. We have Pokemon Rumble World. This is one of those games where you like play as like a bunch of like toy Pokemon and you go around and smash stuff. Oh wait, turns out they actually released a special demo for Pokemon Sun and Moon as well. I forgot about this one. Pokemon Picross. This is a good time. Pokemon Shuffle. Poke Transporter. I think that's for transporting like some of your Pokemon games from like an older version of the Pokemon games. And Pokemon Dream Radar, which was like an AR Pokemon game where like you caught like alternate versions of some of the legendary Pokemon from Generation 5. It was kind of weird.
Based on like how small that picture, that thumbnail was on the screen, I swear it said Cream Radar, which would be a very different game.
Next, we have Ace Attorney. So these are 4 Ace Attorney games that I got via the big Capcom sale that they had over the course of the past 2 weeks. So we got Ace Attorney Trilogy, Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, and Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Next, in eShop games, this is, I think, the biggest folder I have. It's just a bunch of miscellaneous, like, eShop games, various shapes and sizes. We have Mutant Mudds. This is a 2D platforming game that came out very early on in the 3DS's life cycle. We got Mighty Switch Force. This is from, I want to say, way forward. We have Mighty Switch Force 2. We have Gunman Clive. This is where he plays like a cowboy or something. Gunman Clive 2. Harmonite. This is actually a Game Freak game, one of their few non-Pokemon games.
Oh.
It's like a rhythm platforming game. We have Shantae, The Pirate's Curse. We have Box Boy, the original. We have Citizens of Earth. I'm pretty sure I got this as part of the same sale where I got Persona Q2. We have Mom Hid My Game, which is a game I just saw in the 3DS eShop, and I thought this will be a fun thing to keep around. We have Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I don't know if you remember this one. This was Nintendo's first foray into microtransactions, where the whole idea with this game is that you can like haggle with Rusty, who's like this dog, and be like, oh, what if you gave me this microtransaction for like $1.50 instead of $2? Real weird
cool.
idea. We have Steel Diver Sub Wars, Miyamoto's favorite. We have Gurumin 3D Monstrous Adventure. Apparently this thing has gotten really good reviews. I've never played it. We have 80s Overdrive. We have 5 games with spooky levels to play during Halloween. Okay. Now you can't. All right. You can't really see this. You can't really see this very clearly on the video version of the podcast. But I'm not joking when I say that the little icon for this game, like the little boxy thing, is the Boo from the Super Mario Brothers series. Not like, oh, it's like a ghost that kind of looks like a Boo. It straight up is a Boo. So Nintendo's lawyers, they're going to be coming for this one soon.
That's the whole reason the eShop got shut down, was to get rid of that Boo.
Yeah, and then we have Adventure Bar Story, which is an RPG where you also manage a bar. It was a game that looked cool. I thought, it might as well give it some last life on my 3DS, where it will probably collect dust. If we go back down to the second row, because we're not even done with this folder yet, we have Pushmo. This is a really cool 3DS game where like you would push out these blocks and like they worked really well with the 3D effect. I don't know if either of you ever played this one.
No.
There is Crashmo, which was the sequel to Pushmo. Not as good. You would like completely pull down the blocks and they would like crash downwards. You have Stretchmo, which apparently was like the free-to-play like third sequel. I never played it. We have Zelda 4 Swords Anniversary Edition. This was the like enhanced, expanded version of 4 Swords that they re-released, I want to say, for like the 25th anniversary of Zelda. And it was the first version of this game that you could actually play solo if you just wanted to do that. We have SteamWorld Dig, A Fistful of Dirt. Very good game. We have Cave Story. Another very good game. Weird, unusual premise. It definitely feels like a predecessor to like what's that one game where there's like the skeleton guy called Sans?
Undertale.
Yeah, definitely feels like a weird predecessor to that. My Nintendo Picross, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It's a Picross game. It's great. We have Retro City Rampage.
It's been a while since I thought about that game.
Yeah. We have Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. This is a Sega game that is apparently like one of those rhythm-based games. Never played it, but it always looked good. Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove. There we go. I probably picked this up during like one of the fire sales towards the end.
Yeah, I think it was like $2 or $3. Right?
Yeah. Nano Assault EX. This game looked really good, but I never played it. Parascientific Escape, Cruise in the Distant Seas. This game had a lot of cute anime girls on the eShop, so I figured why not?
You're just buying bullshit at this point.
Mini Mario and Friends, Amiibo Challenge, another one of those Amiibo games. Photo Dojo. Do you guys remember Photo Dojo?
Photo Dojo? No.
This was a DSiWare game where basically you would use the DSi's camera to take photos of your like friend or whatever, and then you would turn it into like a fighter and like a very basic rudimentary fighting game. It was like a perfect example of like, oh man, that was a really fun afternoon. And finally, we have 3D Game Collection, which purports to have like, I don't know, like 61 like classic games like chess and mahjong and mahjong, or I don't know how you pronounce it. You get the idea. All right. I swear that the rest of the folders are not going to be that long. Next up, we have NES games. These are actually the 10 NES games that they gave out when they did the 3DS like ambassador thing back in the day. So
when they were like, hey, sorry we made you pay way too much money for this thing. Here's some free games to compensate.
Exactly. So you got Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, Wrecking Crew, Yoshi, a game literally just called Yoshi, Balloon Fight, Ice Climber, Donkey Kong Jr., Metroid, and NES Open Tournament Golf.
You know what I just realized? Yoshi, the game for NES, obviously had to come after Super Mario World for SNES, right?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me just to see Nintendo supporting older hardware, I guess.
And then you have the 3D Classics collection. You have 3D Classics Kid Icarus. Now here's the thing. Kid Icarus, a little bit of a controversial NES game. Some people find it too hard. The 3D Classics version of this game not only is like a very pretty 8-bit game, it also like actually balanced out the difficulty of Kid Icarus a lot and actually made it like very enjoyable to play. Actually, if you picked this game up before the eShop went down, good job, because this is actually very solid. And you have 3D Classics Excite Bike, didn't play it as much. And you have 3D Classics Xevious, which I want to say I played for like a minute or two, and I was like, nah. You have Game Boy games. In here, we have Metroid 2 Return of Samus, so the original version of Metroid 2. We have Donkey Kong, the 1994 game that actually kicks ass. This is like one of those secret gems that people who are in the know is kick ass. We have Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, which was a sequel to Kid Icarus before we got the 3DS game. Not bad. Not the best thing ever, but not bad. The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages.
Yeah.
And then we have, in order, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land 2, and the game we are playing right now for this month's Barf, Wario Land 3. Finally, we'll do the demos at the end. We have AAA games. So here we only have 3 games because I only really picked these up as part of like the eShop fire sale. We have Resident Evil Revelations. This game came out on the 3DS in 2012, if you remember.
Yep.
They
had like
Donkey
a
Kong
remaster
Country
on
Returns.
PS4, I think. But yeah, it was like it's designed for 3DS.
Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. I want to say I actually got this in like 2013. It might have been discounted or something. And we
True
have
story.
Resident Evil.
My mom bought a 3DS specifically for Donkey Kong Returns 3D.
Wow.
That is the only game that she owns on that thing.
The port of Donkey Kong Country Returns for the 3DS was not bad. A lot of people preferred it over the original Wii version because you didn't have to do like the waggle when you wanted to roll. And it's like, I totally get that. I never actually beat this version of the game because I got to a point where I'm like, this is really hard and I don't know that I need to see this through to the end. Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, the last AAA game in this collection. That was another game that was part of the fire sale. Game Boy Advance games, again, like the NES games, these are the 10 games that they gave out as part of the Ambassador program. So we have Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. We have Metroid Fusion. We have Mario Kart Super Circuit, probably the weakest of the Mario Karts. We have F-Zero Maximum Velocity. We have Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the original. We have Wario Land 4, a game that I played a little bit of, didn't really stick with me. We'll talk about it on the podcast. We have Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. We have Wario Land Inc., Mega Micro Games. Now that right there, you want to talk about a good Wario game. That right there is a good Wario game. We have Fire Emblem, The Sacred Stones, a game that I tried to play many times but could never get into. And we have The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap, a excellent Zelda game.
Remind me
finally,
when we get to it in like a week. Remind me that I would love to talk about and discover, because I don't know it, but I would love to talk about when Wario transitioned into being the motorcycle riding, onion eating, farting joke that he is today versus what he was in those Wario Land games. Because that's such a fascinating transition, like different character to me. Anyway, continue.
And real quick, I only have 7 demos. I have a game that we played very recently, Metal Gear Solid 3D Snake Eater. This is probably the first time I ever played a Metal Gear Solid game, actually. We have the demo for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Infinity. We have the demo for Resident Evil Revelations. We have Metroid Prime Blast Ball, if you remember that baby. Mm-hmm. We have the demo for Bravely Default.
Oh, what a disappointing game.
We have Project Cross Zone. That was that game where like every single Japanese role-playing game that didn't make it into Smash Bros. Crossed over. And finally, we have Etrian Odyssey 4. Thing about this demo is I did not connect with this demo at all back when I played it the first time. And then after playing Persona Q, I actually like so thoroughly understood and was enamored with the gameplay of that game that I actually was able to really dig into this particular demo. But unfortunately, when they announced that the 3DS and Wii U eShops were going to be closing down, Atlas had a sale then and there, and then they didn't have another sale when they actually closed down. So I never actually picked up the games because I figured I don't want to pay $40 for this.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Damn, Alex, that is quite a collection.
That was a lot of words out of my mouth. And that's probably the last words you'll hear out of my mouth this podcast, because I've not been playing a whole lot else besides Wario Land 3, which we will save for the proper time and place to talk about.
I have 2 questions for you. One question is, for each platform, Wii U and 3DS, what are 2 games that you got in this sale, like in the last, specifically because they were closing, 2 games that you got that you are going to play, and 2 games that you think you will never touch again, but you bought them anyway?
100% I'm going to play Persona Q2. I love the original Persona Q. I think that game is severely underrated, so I'm definitely going to play that game. And what would I also play? Oh, you know what? I'll probably play at the very least Ace Attorney trilogy, which is it's a trilogy of the first 3 Ace Attorney games, because I never played those games and I figured might as well at least play those. So yeah, those 2 games from the 3DS I'll definitely check out at some point. Games that I'll never play. Honestly, I'll probably never play Mom Hid My Game. I got that as a joke, but I don't think I'll ever actually bother through with it. And I don't know. I don't think I'll ever play like... There was another game I mentioned very briefly called like 3D Game Collection, where it's like chess and checkers and stuff like that. I don't need that in my life. But I got it because it was like 50 cents.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not?
Dope. Thanks for walking us through that, Alex. As you are listening to this, listener, watcher on YouTube, whatever, go to Twitter or comment on the YouTube video. Let us know what you picked up, if you picked up anything, or what you heard from that listener. Like, damn, I wish I would have got that, and now I'll never get it, and my life is in shambles. All right, we're going to move on from that segment, go back into our regular 3-person view, and we're going to talk about playtime, what we played this week. Alex already told us that it was basically Wario Land 3, so Adam, we're going over... Morbius, huh? You watching that Morbius movie?
Mm-hmm, love it. Yeah, Morbius. Actually, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Because I knew we made this mistake. Are we playing for Barf? Is it Wario Land 3 or is it Wario Land Super Mario Land 3?
It is Wario Land 3, not Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land.
Gotcha. Just making sure. Good Lord.
But now, hold on. Real quick, Adam. If you boot up Wario Land 3 and it's in black and white, you've chosen the wrong game. Wario Land 3 was a Game Boy Color game. Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land, which is the wrong game, was just an original Game Boy game and thus in black and white. So go color.
There's
not black and white.
One of my only memories of Wario Land 3. You'll hear it more in depth on the Barf episode later this week. I killed a cockroach with it.
Ooh. What?
Mm-hmm. True story. On accident. Hear more on Friday when we record.
All right, very cool. No, so Morbius, a shadow drop into Marvel's Midnight Suns. They're like, hey, you download Morbius today, right now. I was like, oh shit, I'll go home and do
shadow
that.
drop. Get it? Like, because vampires and what we do in the shadows.
He turns into vampire mist.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Morbius.
You gotta say it like it's spelled.
Morbius.
There you go. Okay, that works.
That's how I would say it. But yeah, no, I played through his campaign. Played through those new missions, whatever. He's a pretty fun character. All the DLC characters have been really cool so far. But it does keep up the cadence of one character a month, which means next month will be the last piece of DLC, and it'll be Storm. So that'll be fun. I'll have everybody, and then I can do my new game plus with all the characters. But every character is cool. Morbius is cool. You fight... I'm not going to give the story away, but it's pretty weird. It's weird. It's weird.
I love that they're adding, like, not just new characters, like, oh, go do old-ass missions with all these new characters, but they're like, here's some, like, wacky new scenarios and different, like, what was the Deadpool theme? It was, like, cowboy theme? No. What was the Deadpool one? Zombies?
Deadpool 1 introduces vampires.
Vampires, got it.
And you fight...
and you fight Dracula.
No, you fight Red Skull's granddaughter.
Oh.
Venom, you fight Dracula.
Got it, okay.
It's crazy. It's all over the place. I'm actually really interested to see what the last one does, because maybe the vampire storyline seems to be wrapped up. So I don't know what Storm's going to bring to the game, but I guess we'll see whatever she brings. But that'll be cool whenever it comes out. And then the last thing I did... What is this?
Hold on, pause. Real quick, more vampire questions.
Yeah, go for it.
I know your jam is cowboys and pirates. Mm-hmm. Do you also have a vampire thing? Because you were all into Dead Cells and Castlevania, killing Dracula, and like, are you secretly a vampire boy too? And you love what we do in the shadows?
No, I'm not a vampire boy. I just like Dead Cells because Dead Cells is a fantastic game, and they just happened to put Castlevania stuff in it. So like, well, I'll come back and play this. But I'm not into. I mean, when those Twilight movies came out, I was Team Jacob. So
there you go.
It is what it is. I mean, vampires are cool, but they're no cowboys.
So they're not no cowboy pirate. Okay, not that level. Okay.
That's on top tier. No, what I played was Watch Dogs Legion. That's what WDL stands for.
Nice. Why did you do that?
So I was looking in the store. I was looking for something to buy to play. And I was like, oh, that's right. I own the season pass for Watch Dogs Legion, but I had the physical disc that I sold. And it was on sale for like $6. So like, let me just buy the base game for $6 and play the DLC, which I had never played. So I've been playing that, and it introduces the characters from the first two games, and you're just playing as them in London. So I was just like, sure, I need to play this. I've never played it. Let me go back to it. Watch Dogs Legion, for not being like a super popular or whatever kind of a game, the gimmick worked, which I think is still pretty impressive. That we never think that like, yo, you literally can play anybody in this game. Like literally every random NPC in this game can be played, and we just are like, people didn't play it. I'm like. Even if you didn't play it, that's fucking wild that system completely works without any issues. And I think it's still impressive. But yeah, I was like, sure, let me knock out this DLC because I have nothing else to play at the moment. Because I can't play the big games that came out because I'm a scaredy boy. So
I literally, Watch Dogs Legion, I think I discovered this on the show. I was like, when does that come out? When does Watch Dogs Legion come out? And it was just like, oh. That was 3 months ago. Like it's been out. 2020. No one said a word. Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
It was really fun at Next Gen because that's when Next Gen launched, and it was like, oh yeah, ray tracing, like a video game with like full ray tracing. It was pretty cool. But whatever.
Speaking of ray tracing, I played Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it starts with that age old question that everybody hates to try to answer: resolution or performance. And it's just like, God damn. I am pleased to say I chose resolution because I'm one of those, I have an OLED TV. I need my HDR to look great. I need my ray tracing. I need all of that. I chose resolution, but also my TV has the little thing where it shows you the frame rate that it's at. And it's an unlocked like 48 to 59 frames per second in resolution.
Oh, that's basically 60. You can live with that.
Yeah. Whereas I assume performance is like just locked at 60. Mm-hmm. So if you're making that decision yourself, go with the ray tracing resolution on that one. So yeah, I played Resident Evil 4 Remake. You know, I love me some good Resident Evil games. I'm a big fan. Village was good. Loved it a lot. 7 was good. Loved 2. 3's fine. Whatever. We played 4 for a barf game, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And we were like, damn, I remember this being really good, but this game is old. And this game is like nearly unplayable. It is in desperate need of a remake. And this delivers. I will be honest and say that I am not very far into it because after about 30 to 45 minutes, all the Destiny 2 folks popped on and said, hey, who wants to run Iron Bear? And I was like, I can't say no to Destiny. So, yeah, I played until everyone goes into the chapel in the beginning of the game. Which, there's this thing going around that obviously it's much, much easier to do on New Game Plus when you have a scoped rifle, but you can shoot the church bell in that opening town. You're running around avoiding people or killing people for 2 to 4 minutes until the church bell rings on its own, and then everyone walks into the church. But you can actually shoot the bell itself, and it will just end the encounter immediately. How cool is that? I'm loving it so far. I had the thought while I was playing it too that it's like, as revolutionary and amazing as Resident Evil 2 Remake looked, using that new RE engine and all that kind of stuff, I was playing this, I was like, huh, this is standard now. I've come to expect this. I wasn't blown away with it, but I mean, it still looks fantastic. It's good, but I'm just like, oh, I'm not blown away by it anymore. I can
Looks
see
like Resident Evil.
In Leon's hair, I can see where the textures are clumped together to form hair in blades rather than individual strands. Like, yeah. No spoilers, Dallas. There's no spoiler, and you're not gonna play it anyway. You're a wuss. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I also played Wario Land 3. We'll talk more about that on Freitag. And Diablo 4 Beta. I was not going to play this again, but it was open again for the weekend. I was not going to play it again. And then I was like, fuck, I want that puppy on my back when the game launches.
You weren't 20 yet.
Right, I wasn't 20 yet. I was only 14.
Gotcha.
So if you get to level 20 during the beta, you get the Wolfpack cub on your back. Loaded into the game again as my sorceress. Actually, I went to go load into it, and it was like, your wait time is an hour. And I said, no, it's not. I'm playing Destiny. And then I went the next day, and it was like, your wait time is less than 1 minute. I said, thank you.
Yeah.
So loaded in as my sorceress. I was like, all right, let me try to level up to 20. I spent about 30 minutes going through a dungeon and barely got to 15. But I ran into the butcher from the first game. And he just jumped in out of nowhere in that dungeon, and he goes, fresh meat. And I was like, I was elated and terrified all at the same time. And he is just as terrifyingly difficult as he is in the first game, and it killed me almost immediately, and I did almost no damage to him. And then he disappeared.
I did not encounter this character when I played through the beta last weekend, but I did read a Kotaku article about how apparently a lot of people were flabbergasted by how powerful he was.
Yeah,
Strong boy.
Yeah. I knew that if I stayed around, I was like, there is no beating him in my current state, or probably in any state that you can get to in the beta. But what also surprised me, I played a little bit there, and I got to like 15. I was like, no, that's way too much of a grind on this sorceress that I'm never going to play again. I don't care about the Wolf Cub anymore. And then I saw, oh shit, you can play as a druid this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I said, let me give my bear boy a try. And so I started playing. I did a whole playthrough of Diablo 2 when I was a kid as a werewolf, and my brother was a werebear. So we were a druid and just playing through the whole campaign together. And that was a ton of fun. And I'm like, let me try it out on this one. And pleased to say, I am very, very excited, and that will be my character of choice. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go werewolf again, just because of all the cool shit and the poison and the increasing attack speed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, very cool. Liking that a lot. And I'm almost thinking that I might, between now and June when it comes out, I might do a whole werewolf run of Diablo 2 Resurrected, so that then I can go straight on through as continue that. Admittedly, super underpowered now. I'll go through the end of D2, have all my skills, and then I'll reset back at the beginning of D4 and be like, oh, what happened? Anyway, yeah, so I'm thinking about doing that. But honestly, I won't have time. So that's life.
Very fun.
That's it.
Is there a thing that tells you if you get the wolf pup? Because I was at level 20, but I didn't get like a pop-up or anything. I just assume it's supposed to be there.
I don't know.
think that there's there might be a menu in game. This game has like a lot of menus, but I'm pretty sure in one of the menus it says like, "Hey, congratulations, you got to level 20. You beat the tutorial."
Yeah, I hope it's not something you had to go in and claim.
I hope not. Ain't nobody getting it.
I don't think so. I read a couple of articles leading into the beta, and they were like, "Yeah, you just have to do this. I didn't see anything about like you have to redeem this thing to get it." But we will find out, I guess.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's move on to our main quest. Well, I guess no. Alex was the main quest. This is just a regular quest now. Greatest story ever told becomes a game. Says Chris Scullion at VGC. A new game based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is in development, but this one promises to be darker and more mature. Ooh. The game will be based on The Last Ronin, a 5-issue comic miniseries released in 2020, which is set in the future and sees 3 of the turtles already dead. This feels a lot like Ronin/Hawkeye, set in the future, killing people. In an interview with Polygon, Paramount Global's senior vice president for games, Doug Rosen, said the game would be a third-person action RPG and cited the recent God of War games as a comparison. Mighty, mighty bold words there. While other TMNT games like last year's Shredder's Revenge are typically about playing as all 4 turtles and sometimes their allies like Splinter, April O'Neil, and Casey Jones, The Last Ronin will be a primarily single-character game, though Rosen posited that other characters could be playable in flashback sequences, similar to how the comic series plays out. The primary action is said to center on the only surviving turtle. The Last Ronin video game adaptation is being developed by an unnamed studio, but Rosen said they've found the right partner to adapt The Last Ronin into an ambitious AAA video game. Adam, I know you're a Turtles guy. Are you pumped?
Yeah, you know me. It's cowboys, pirates, and turtles, and then vampires and werewolves below that.
Ninja Turtles, slightly below regular turtles. You're just all into those red-eared sliders, like sea turtles.
Snappers, and sea turtles. So good. So cool. Yeah, those guys stink a lot. But no.
Turtle soup. Don't forget that turtle soup.
I'm going to dine on that.
What about the turtles, like the candy turtles that aren't actually made of turtle?
They like the pecans on them or whatever.
Right, yeah. Those. Yeah. Those are not bad, but whenever I eat them, I'm like, I wish this had like a little bit of peanut butter in them. Like I prefer like the Reese's variation on those turtles.
I think pretty much anything could do with peanut butter.
A dog would agree. But I... So this is the thing. I haven't read a ton of Ninja Turtles comics, but I had a friend who had a podcast because he was all into it. And he told me like, yo, way before this game was announced, like years ago, he's like, hey, this Last Ronin run is pretty fucking cool. I was like, all right, dude, I'll trust you. And I listened to this podcast and I was like, holy shit, that sounds like the greatest story ever told. And I'm very excited. Again, I want to see who the developer is on it or whatever, but fuck, this is the story that they could pull off and be like, hey, why don't we make it gritty and whatever, you know? People always do that, but I can see
this could be the Arkham Asylum of Turtles games.
Hopefully. I mean, the story
just like takes that and elevates it in such a way that people are like, let's start taking this seriously now.
Yeah. And especially if they're like, hey, let's, not saying like just make God of War and you just throw that at a developer, but like third person action, gritty. This is a mess because man, that story's wild. I'm telling you, oh boy. That's a good one. So I'm excited. I want to see who the studio is, of course. But hey, throw it at somebody good and we'll get a really good game out of it. It's like...
Is it spoilers to know who the turtle is? Because I feel like it's... Okay. Well, I won't... I can make a guess. I don't know anything about it, but I feel like it's Raphael. Yeah, don't confirm or deny.
Just take a guess. Who do you think the Last Ronin is?
I was going to guess Venus de Milo.
I was going to make that joke, son of a... I was going to make that fucking joke about Venus de Milo. Who do you think, Chad? Well, here's what I'll say, though. Here's what I'll say. He wears a mask that is black, so you don't know the color. And he carries all of the weapons of his dead brothers on him, and he uses all the weapons of his dead brothers.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like you see him strapped up. He's got the the nunchucks and the sword. Is it the sais? Is that what Raphael uses? Is that what those things are called? And the bow. He's got all of them just strapped on his back, and he just goes around. And he's trying to kill the grandson of Shredder, because I guess the Foot Clan has slowly killed all of the Turtle brothers over the years, so he's going out for revenge. You think Raphael?
And Shredder's grandson at the time is literally a baby, like an infant. He's he's doing
killing
the
a 3-year-old.
He's like, if I kill your grandson, you die.
You die in real life. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Raphael's a good guess.
I'm excited about this. You guys, I love God of War. It's my favorite game of all time. So yeah, I'm pumped for this. I think this is a good way to take that combat. Obviously, having 4 sets of weapons is great for switching between them, for doing different types of damage and different scenarios, that kind of stuff. Like, this seems like the perfect Ninja Turtles game. I am skeptical of the ability for Ninja Turtles to tell as an emotionally resonant story as God of War, although I was also just as skeptical of God of War before God of War 2018 came out. So this could completely change things. So I'm pumped for this, and I can't wait to see more. All right, next up, E3 is still a thing, huh? Says Logan Plant at IGN. Oh, this was a tough tweet to read today. Ubisoft will not be a part of E3 2023 after all, the company has revealed. This is a quote. E3 has fostered unforgettable moments across the industry throughout the years. While we initially intended to have an official E3 presence, we've made the subsequent decision to move in a different direction and will be holding a Ubisoft Forward live event on 12th of June in Los Angeles. We look forward to sharing more details with our players very soon. In February, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said the company would have, quote, a lot of things to show at E3 2023, becoming the first major publisher to confirm attendance for the event. But now, Ubisoft pulling out of the event leaves E3's lineup in serious question. Woo! So we know Nintendo's not going to be there. We know Sony's not going to be there. We know Xbox is having their own thing across the street, but also will not be present on the floor at E3. Now we know Ubisoft, one of the largest third-party publishers, is also not going to be present with any of their shit at E3. What is at E3? What does E3 look like this year?
Nothing. Because we know EA's not. Because EA hasn't done it for like 6 years. Who's left? Who is the big person that's left to be like, we're here?
There is one publisher, a shining star, a diamond in the rough, that has hinted and suggested that it might be making a big comeback with 2 of its most prized franchises later this year. We're talking about Konami. Konami still has not yet said its word on how it's going to be unveiling the next installments in the Metal Gear Solid and Castlevania franchises. Who knows? This could be their big comeback, and in doing so, the big comeback of E3 as a whole.
You know what else they could do instead? And tweet 2 trailers.
That's true too.
Make the
That's true too.
IGN, show this for us. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, man. God. That show. Right? You will not find Chad at E3 this year. I know we said, maybe you'll see Chad. Nope, you will not find Chad at E3. I might be there the week before for Summer Game Fest and then maybe Super Nintendo World again afterwards, but definitely not be there for E3.
It's not dead, but it is officially just a PAX now. That's all it is. It's not going to be anything more exciting than that.
Not even, though. Because PAX has fun panels,
PAX has Ubisoft games. PAX has PlayStation games. PAX has Xbox games. This has none of those.
Sure. But I mean, like, in the sense that it will still exist and there will still be some games of note at it, but, like, it won't be, what it was before.
I cannot wait for someone to go there and be like, here's what's here, and just have that list of 7 things that don't matter.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest thing was Street Fighter 6 demo, even though the game's already out. Like, that'll be the biggest thing at E3, and that'll be a fun thing to see. You hate to see it, but Jeff Keighley ate their lunch 3 years ago, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Eddie, I broke my NDA, Eddie. George Yang, our boy, at IGN.
I love George Yang. You have to say it like Tom Hardy in Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage.
I've seen that movie 3 times in theaters, and I don't remember this.
Eddie. He sounds like an idiot when he says
Eddie. I broke my NDA, Eddie. Tony Todd, the voice actor behind Venom in Insomniac's Marvel's Spider-Man's 2's, revealed that the game will release sometime in September. It was previously only revealed that it would drop fall 2023. On Twitter, Todd posted a picture of himself working with mocap. When someone explained that they couldn't wait for more details about Spider-Man 2, Todd responded with, quote, looks like September. Massive publicity coming in August. Commercials start dropping in August, so I'm told. Hold your breath. Gonna be necessary. While this is far from a confirmation since Insomniac itself did not officially announce a release date, having the information coming from someone who is directly working on the game is worth noting. Well, damn. This actor has no idea about how NDAs work and how, oh man, this people don't know this information yet. Well, yeah, let me just tell you. I'll just tweet it. Old Tony Todd. That sounds like a Marvel name.
It's Candyman. Are you gonna fucking argue with Candyman? He'll show up in your dreams and kill you. Come on. Well, not in your dreams. I guess he shows up in the mirror and kills you. But yeah, that's what people have been talking about. Is like, yo, Hollywood actors fucking do not deal with NDAs and bullshit. So they're like, fuck, I don't know what you're talking about, bud. I'm just going to do the thing. Yeah. I don't give a shit. Eat my ass, you know? I'm excited.
Tony Todd. Oh, Candyman. Got it. I did not realize that's who that was.
Yeah, he's Candyman. I'm excited, though. September looks good. Starfield.
Wait a minute.
Spider-Man.
Oh. Sorry, the first thing that comes up when you type Tony Todd is, did Tony Todd pass away? And I was like, wait a minute.
I better not. He just tweeted yesterday about Spider-Man 2. He better not be dead. But yeah, September's looking good. This year altogether has been pretty good for games. I can't complain. There's a banger every month or every couple weeks. And in September, we get two, like Xbox's big game of the year and Sony's big game of the year. I'm like, come on, we're eating.
Yeah. That's it for our what do we call this in quest log? That's it for the quest log. Now coming up, we've got a segment from Adam, segment from Adam, a segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam, segment from Adam. That's the jingle that used to play when my washing machine was done in San Francisco.
That long, huh?
Yeah, it was a long jingle.
Holy shit. Anyway, so right now we're going to do best games of the month because we're keeping track. You know, last year it was obvious what game of the year was, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But this year is going to be a lot more difficult to figure it out. And we're going through each month and talking about, hey, what's going up? Yes, this is down here for a reason, whoever highlighted that. Number one, and again, so technically there's like a couple more games coming out for the rest of the month, but it's stuff that doesn't really count on this list. So Resident Evil 4 remake is at a 93. It's a high score. How do you feel about remakes being... I think remakes count for game of the year. Not remasters, but I think a full-ass remake
I think
counts.
when they're ground-up remakes, yeah, they 100% count. Also...
That and Dead Space.
I mean, yeah, Dead Space... Oh, fuck, yeah. Resident Evil 4, so far, no snakes. I remember every fucking thing that I busted open in the old game, snake comes and bites you right on the eyes. This game so far, I've not found any snakes. That alone deserves Game of the Year.
There you go, absolutely. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania at an 88. That's why I've been playing it, because it's amazing. Second best game of the month. Dredge is an 85. Comes out March 30th. So
I was
a couple days after
you hear
this.
Dredge?
I've never heard of this one either.
It's an indie game that's on PS5 about fishing or something like that, but it's already got scores and it's an 85. So
okay,
I decided to put this in here. Anno 1800 console edition is an 84. It's like a city builder kind of a thing. Have a Nice Death at an 82, which is the there was that really cool trailer where it's like the black and white, you play as Death in like an office building or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
WWE 2K23 and 82, Wolong Fallen Dynasty at an 80, Bayonetta Origins also at an 80. So pretty good month. So the reason down here for you listeners and watchers, I put Crime Boss Rockay City LOL. That game comes out on the 28th, today if you're listening to the podcast or whatever, right? So the reason I don't want to call them out too much, but I'm playing in a fantasy critic game, whatever league, right? And someone picked up Crime Boss Rockay City, and I said, I'm immediately going to counterpick this video game because this video game is going to be absolute garbage. And he was like, hey, who bid on that? Who bid to counterpick that? Why are they doing that? And I didn't say anything until my bid went through. And then the minute it went through, I said, let me tell you, this is about to be the worst video. Because again, when you play a fantasy critic league, it's either you try to counterpick something that's bad or something that doesn't release. That's the only release safe. Because if you counterpick something, like I know someone counterpicked Hogwarts Legacy and then it got, positive points. So they got screwed negatively in negative points. So I was like, either I'm going to wait for a game that is going to get pushed and try to counterpick it so it gets locked in, or just wait and see if anyone gets a game that maybe is bad. And he picked up Crime Boss Rockay City, and I was like, oh boy. Tell me this. This game comes out tomorrow for us. Have you guys seen or heard anything about this game besides the trailer with like a bunch of old actors in it?
No.
No.
I mean, this game doesn't even have any reviews out yet, which is, a little concerning if it's a game that is like on the verge of release.
Yeah, so I did some research before I counterpicked it. And I was like, hey, bud, let me tell you. That game.
I remember seeing this trailer and I was like, pass.
That was a weird one. The studio who made that game was founded in 2020. Started pre-production, not got together. They started the studio in 2020, and it's 3 years later. And
I mean,
you gotta respect them.
You gotta respect them for turning out a game real fast. It feels like nowadays most video game developers are like, we'll shit out a game after 10 years, and it's Gotham Knights. Like that's impressive. They rolled out a game in like 2.5 years.
Yeah, short development times always make really good video games. It's also a $30 video game.
Uncharted 3 developed in 2 years. Well, Uncharted 2 developed in 2 years.
On the bones of something else. And yeah, like I said, this game comes out tomorrow. And then there were previews, and everyone was like, oof. This feels like Payday 2 if Payday 2 played like shit. And it's like, oof. That sounds rough. So anyway, it's just a little story. He picked the game up. He was excited. I was like, please, God, give me a positive score because this game's garbage. So we'll see tomorrow for next week. I'm just like, hey, oh yeah, that's right. That video game that they announced at Game Awards with the actor and those two big boys behind him comes out tomorrow and nobody knew about it. So that's it. It's going to be bad. I'm just hoping,
Yeah.
That's a me thing. That's it.
Dope. All right, y'all. It's time for Game on Game. Nope. Game on Game. No. We don't have one this week. I didn't come up with one, and Alex had his thing. I was like, let's just do that. And it turned out we did. That's how science works. So that's it for episode 301 of Respawn Aim Fire. You have homework. Go vote now. You are no longer just restricted to Patreon members voting. So everyone, go vote now as you're hearing this, except for D Smitty Games in the chat, because it's not out now. But by the time you're listening to this tomorrow morning, it'll be out. Go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. Vote on one of those 4 difficult to play and find games that Alex has listed for us. Although the Series X enhanced Sonic Frontiers, not Frontiers. Fuck it. Go to the thing, vote on the games.
Sonic Unleashed.
Thank you. Go to the thing, vote for the games. Go to twitter.com/respawnaimfire, where everyone is free to vote as long as you have set up an account on Twitter. Twitter Blue does not get you extra weight in the poll. Go vote. We will reveal on next week's, actually probably on Friday's recording. We are recording our bar for Wario Land 3 this Friday. Knock on wood, hopefully. I always get nervous announcing these things in advance just in case something falls apart and our guest falls apart and whatever. So our plan is to do that on Friday, so look for that this weekend on Wario Land 3, and you can find out how I killed a cockroach with Wario Land 3. And also if you would like to go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire, you get a new perk starting next month. You get a new rotating game segment. Game is in like game show segment, not as in like video game segment, but game show segment every single month. And it is exclusive to you for a month. So starting in April, we will be recording a Jeopardy-like game, which we have decided as a group. Can I announce this? It's going to blow your minds. RAF Birdie. Respawn Aim Fire.
Yeah.
Yep. That's coming in April. We are going to have a special guest who is unnamed right now. Although I will tell you, our first draft pick said yes. So, yes, our guest will be available for that sometime in April. Be looking for that as a patreon.com/respawnaimfire member. And look forward to more announcements for Patreon goodies coming soon. That's it, everyone. Alex, thank you. 2 things. Thank you for being on the show again today. RAF regular, Alex. What do they call you at the beginning? Mod Topsy. I was like, what are the what was the joke at the beginning? I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember the beginning of this podcast at all. These podcasts, they're like the Neuralizer from the Men in Black series, just completely blinked out of my brain.
That's my life.
So thank you, Alex, for joining us, and then also thank you for putting in the work and the money in to buy that collection of eShop stuff before it all died and show it to us today. If people want to continue following your shenanigans, how do they do that?
You can find me over on Twitter at Alex Kazina, AlexKozina.
Dope. Adam, it's been a while since we plugged anything else you do outside of this podcast. What do you do and where do people find you?
Oh, Tuesdays on twitch.tv/Misfit Rolls. You can watch us play D&D live and listen to Isle of Misfit Rolls on podcast services. And we play D&D and we're the bad guys. I'm just really the bad guy. Everyone else is like, oh, we're trying to be good. I'm like, fuck that. Kill this random person. So, that's a fun D&D podcast to do. And also, hey, everyone, go see John Wick 4. Just do it.
Oh, yeah.
Fun for the whole family.
Oh, yeah. Dope
Fun
movie.
for the
The most
whole
video
family.
game-ass movie I've ever seen in my life.
Fucking
It was
phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, that Hotline Miami shot, too, was super cool.
Oh, my. Didn't get me started yet.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So good.
Go see John Wick 4. It's awesome. If you see it in Dolby, the whole theater ripples with his punches at the very beginning of the movie.
Bro, the beginning of the movie,
my
I almost
God.
went deaf.
Yeah. Like, literally everything's shaking. You can hear the ripple. Boom. I was like, holy shit. Great film. That's it, everyone. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. They'll say, autopsy at my autopsy.